Okay, this story comes straight from North Carolina. You know, despite your domination of religion, whatever you choose, whether you're Muslim, Nation of Islam, Christianity, Judaist, Buddhist, there's supposed to be a set of codes and principles as far as loving your fellow man. That's what the Christians say. The Muslims even have a saying itself, that's in the Quran, treat my brother as I treat myself. That's another saying, but it all circles back to saying things about you're supposed to treat everybody equally. Now, of course, in the real world, these things doesn't happen. And, of course, religion is a system of control, but that's my own personal beliefs. I'm not going to get too much into depth about this. I just wanted to focus on a particular person named, a particular pastor, ex-pastor who's at the church, the Bethany United Church of Christ, which was in North Carolina. Now, ironically enough, the pastor's been there for 6 months, but here's where this story gets interesting. Turns out this pastor is named Robert Lee IV. And in case you're wondering, yes, Robert Lee IV is the great-grandson of General Robert Lee. The ones whose statues of the Confederacy, the statue he's used as a symbolism for racism and quote-unquote Southern values, which, I'm being sarcastic about it. Now, here's where things took an interesting turn. Like I said, he was actually with this church for 6 months as a pastor. He has now stepped and left the church and was asked to leave. And let's explain why this actually happened. It wasn't because of pedophilia. It wasn't because he was sleeping with the congregation, not that we know of anyway, but actually because he had the audacity to get off code. And when I say get off code, I mean out of code with his own skin color, his white people. See, one thing you have to say about other groups, the tenacity of other groups is they stay on code, and this is something as we as a people need to be on as well, and need to punish those who don't. But the reason why he got punished for being on code wasn't even because of anything wrong. It's because he refused to be one of the white people who actually support white supremacy. Imagine that, considering that your great-grandfather is the symbol for that. So imagine this. Well, he was on the VMAs he was on the MTV VMA Awards, the Video Music Awards, for those who are not aware, which I haven't watched in years. So I wish I could saw that. It all started where he came on there. He actually denounced white supremacy. Where he quoted, and I'm paraphrasing here. I'll actually leave a link where you can actually read the article yourself, which is in the Huffington Post. Where he actually pretty much denounced white supremacy, and he actually said, My great grandfather being used as a symbol for this is wrong, and it shouldn't be celebrated in any shape, form, or fashion whatsoever, and the statue does need to come down. Well, needless to say, his old church congregation didn't exactly take too kind of that. Now, wait a minute. These are supposed to be good, God-fearing Christians, right? So that you're supposed to love and honor everybody, and you're supposed to be full of value, good old wholesome Christian values, right? Yeah, it's pretty amazing how that works, how he wasn't well received after making those comments on MTV. And to make things, add insult to injury to them, how they felt, he also brought out Susan Bro, which is the mother of the late Heather Hurley, and make sure I say her name right. She was the activist that actually died during the Charlotte riots, and let's just call it what it was, Charlottesville riots, over at the alt-right meeting that turned deadly. He actually brought her mother out, which I gotta give him kudos for that. That's really setting the pot on fire. Now, going back to the whole Christian thing, it's amazing because Neely Fuller Jr. actually spoke about this actually. And Neely Fuller Jr. even stated that white people don't have they quote unquote don't have the same view of Christians as black people do. In other words, to them, their Christianity, form of Christianity is right, and the black people's is just theirs over there. And let's not even go to the whole dominations, where being Catholic and Presbyterian and whatever all the other types of split, other types of factions, Baptists, other types of factions of Christianity. But Neely Fuller Jr. pretty much talked about this very well. In fact, if you just type in the video on YouTube, Neely Fuller Jr. Keep in mind, Neely Fuller Jr. and type in Christians, you'll see the video that I'm referring to, and he pretty much breaks it down in pretty good, like 4 minutes, and breaks this whole thing down. But it's funny how the so-called God-fearing Christians are the most vicious one, but that's the hypocrisy Christianity's always been, and I'm not going to go into it. I have my own personal views, how I feel about that religion. I have my own personal views, and I'm not going to go there for the sake of the video. That'll probably be another day. But isn't it amazing though? It took a white pastor whose great grandfather represents is the symbol for them, is a symbolism for them, for racism and for white power, so to speak, is to sit here denouncing white supremacy. But yet we can't get our own black, and now going back to the community, and this is where I'm going to kind of get in on this. But yet, ironically, in our own community, in the black community, y'all don't even take these pastors up to task. They won't even have the balls to speak about white supremacy doing their long sermons. You can't get them to speak on it for nothing. So it's just amazing how that works to me. But it's not surprising. It's just really not surprising, which is one of the reasons I have a problem with Christianity. But again, I don't want to go in too much into depth about it. But needless to say, he's now left his congregation pretty much probably because the pressure led to him. But he feels like he's still going to vow to do the work he's supposed to be doing. Now I got to give him credit. It's amazing. Like I said, it's amazing. A white pastor can speak out on against white supremacy, but you can't get a quote unquote black pastor to speak on it at all. In most of these churches at all, they want to give a nice. It's like I always say, when they do sermons, as far as I'm concerned, it's just them putting on a show as far as entertainment. That's how I look at it, period, point blank. You're leaving money in the collection place to be entertained, and not only that, you do not to be entertained, and then for those who desolate, who really don't have much to have, don't have much of anything, you're exchanging money, and you are providing money, and in exchange for that money, you're receiving quote unquote hope, and you can't eat off hope. But like I said, I just thought this story very amazing. I definitely wanted to share that story. But be sure to leave your likes, your comments, your opinions on it, and I'll definitely catch y'all on the next one.